Hey, I think it just started. What's up, everybody? How's it going? This is No Way, Seaway.
It's
I'm
been a
Ralph.
while,
Yeah,
but we're back,
that's
and
right.
I'm Abraham. We're still alive. Just making that clear.
I promise. I promise. We're not alien creatures that took over their bodies and their podcast to broadcast world
You went to alien
domination
creatures. I
messages.
was thinking ghosts and stuff.
That too. Why not?
We're alien ghosts from a second dimension that no one had previously heard about.
Indeed. But don't you think it's so strange that we decided to record this again on election night?
Oh man, it's got to be fate, you know?
Yeah, that's so crazy. I mean, I
Yeah,
got
it's one
plenty
of
of.
those things where it's like this is probably the last chance we'll probably get to do this.
I know. I know. I mean, it's just insane. Crazy times we're living in.
Yeah, like if Trump
Crazy.
becomes overlord, this is gonna have to be stopped. He won't like it because it's Mexicans.
I know. I know. That's terrible. I mean, I swear, I've never felt this. I don't know. Like, oh crap. He's really. I mean, he's picking on us. It's like he's a bully, but on a national scale, and it's
Yeah.
like that's scary. For him to make that normal. You know.
Yeah, dude. Like I had a lot more faith in people, but they always let you down
I mean,
sometimes.
even if he doesn't get elected, the fact that he got that far is
Just shows,
extremely disheartening. It's like, wow, what a way to lose faith in humanity.
right? Oh my god,
This is
that's
just
one of the things
insane.
that like movies and TV shows had been predicting that one day humans would kill themselves, and we're pretty damn close.
That's the beginning of that. This is the beginning of that process.
It
I
is.
mean, again, even if he doesn't win, the fact that someone like him could get this far, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, even and if he loses, you gotta. I mean, you just gotta know that thousands, millions of people out there are gonna be ticked off about it, and they're gonna do something about it. I think. I don't
I
know.
think this is the start of the purge. We've got one candidate that was basing himself on fear, and then we've got another one that was just kind of like going with the crowds, and
Yeah.
like it's one of the like I'm scared for tomorrow because once we find out who the president is, uh, everyone's either gonna be really happy and start killing people, or really angry and start killing people. We're not gonna be out
Either
of that.
or. Exactly.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
or even or not even that extreme necessarily in all cases. I mean, I know that just being trying to be a bit facetious at the same time, but I can definitely see a rise in just racist incidents. People. I mean, some of my coworkers, uh, they've been who also speak Spanish. They've
Mhm.
told me of situations where they were speaking Spanish, out on the street. And people that seem to be Trump supporters, have you know just yelled epithets at them and stuff. It's like, I don't know. It's like it's not something that you're used to. It doesn't happen anymore. It's not supposed to happen anymore.
It's not supposed to, but I mean, even before Trump was running for this, like that still wasn't, it hadn't gone away. It just
Right,
stopped happening to certain groups of people.
right, right,
Uh, yeah, because like I had been told that I needed to stop speaking Spanish, and this was like before any candidates were even announced.
right.
You
But
know?
no, yeah, no, that's true. It's just the whole deal that he normalizes all those sorts of opinions, which I think
Yeah,
society as a whole was at least seemingly trying to move away from. It's like
we were trying.
as a society, we were trying to move away from that kind of backwards thinking, but he just sort of brought us right back to it as a society.
Yeah,
And
we took 20 good steps forward, and he took us back 19 of them.
yeah, yeah, no kidding.
It's gonna be tough
Seriously.
recovering from that. But did you like you were you happy with any of these candidates?
I was
The
never
main ones.
totally happy, but
Yeah.
you know, I, I don't know, no, I wasn't happy with any of them. Not really. I can't say I
What if we
was.
included the top two third party candidates, which was Jill Stein and Gary Johnson?
Well, you see, I don't. Wait, was Gary Johnson the guy who didn't know what Aleppo was?
I don't know.
There was. I remember there was a third party candidate who was on some television, political television news show, whatever. And they asked him, "So what are you going to do about Aleppo?" And he's like, "Aleppo? What's Aleppo?" And it was one of the major quote unquote major.
Oh yeah, it was Gary Johnson.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's basically all I know about him. You know, the fact that he didn't even know what that was. Before that, I heard his name thrown around, and he sounded like I don't know. I mean, he just never sounded like a real third option. Frankly, I was just really afraid of. Anytime somebody talks about third party candidates, I'm not saying don't vote for third party candidates, but I'm saying, back in 2000, this is what happened. This is why, George W. Bush ended up in the White House and, winning despite not winning the popular vote, because a lot of people who didn't want to vote for him did not vote for Al Gore and instead voted for the Green Party candidate, Ralph Nader. Mm-hmm. And basically, there was some irregularities in the voting, and they had to do tons of recounts. And in the meantime, while all that was happening, the Electoral College, because of course in the U.S., presidents don't get elected by popular vote directly. And for that reason, while this situation was going on with the recount, that's why the Electoral College just said, you know what, let's just go ahead and, they just ended up casting more votes for Bush. But then when they did the recount of the popular vote, it turned out that Al Gore had actually won the popular vote. But it was too late by then, and we ended up with W.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I was kind of excited that Gary Johnson could probably do something.
If there was ever an election where a third-party candidate actually stood a chance, it would have been this one. But
yeah. Third-party candidates have won in the past.
Right. Yeah, but not that often, but that's true.
Yeah, it's not that often, but it's not like it's not an impossibility.
But if there was ever a time for it to happen again where the odds would have been better, it would have been now. But because nobody, or I think a lot of people just didn't like the two available candidates. But I don't think, Gary Johnson did not make a big enough splash to really, make a difference, I guess.
Gary Johnson, he had a shot, but he didn't. He kind of slipped on his dive.
Yeah.
Same one for Jill Stein. She didn't really try, I think.
Right. Yeah, I know next to nothing about her. So
yeah, me too. I just knew that she was really down to earth, but that's just about it. We can't just pick that just because of that.
Right. But yeah, I feel sorry for those people that don't have early voting, like us here in Colorado. Yeah. I voted like more than a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And so I got that out of the way.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people take voting for granted. There are a lot of people that can't vote that really wish they could. Because,
right. But, there's that. But this election, I have heard, I've heard it repeated time and time again. A lot of people think this is the most important election of their lives. And somebody I was listening to something on NPR, I think, and they interviewed some guy, and he was saying, when I voted for Obama, that was in 2008, that was for me, it was like the election that I was most excited about in my life. This is the one I just think is the most important in my life. And I think that's very true, because I don't know, because back then, even if Obama had not been elected, obviously we would have missed out on a chance to have made such, great progress and equality. Yeah. So I'm glad we didn't miss out on that. But even if he had lost, you could still say, well, we just ended up with, we would have just ended up with your run-of-the-mill Republican president in more ways than one. Yeah. It's just, it would just be the same old, and we could survive that. But this time it's like we have a megalomaniac who I honestly fear, I honestly fear what he can do in that position of power. I think he could get us all killed. I fear him more, but you see, I fear him in a more palpable way. I'm not happy with Hillary, but I don't fear her the same way. I think she's your run-of-the-mill Democratic candidate. It just so happens that, you see, this is what's so sad, because we should all, if she wasn't involved in so much controversy and corruption, we could all be focusing on the fact that she could be the first female president.
Yeah,
but nobody talks about it.
Stuff happened.
Exactly, all that other stuff happened. So it's like nobody even cares about that. Yeah, nobody even cares about
them in different ways. It's like
right.
Trump. I fear him because it's like he's got a massive following and he's praised by some of the world's most god awful human beings, like
yes.
The dictators and the KKK.
Yeah.
And Hillary, I can't get a good read on her. Like, I don't know if she's telling the truth when she says something. I don't know if she's lying. I don't know if she's got anyone's interests but her own. It's kind of hard to know what she's gonna do.
Well, I think she's just your typical Washington politician who I think on some level tries to do good, but is inevitably involved in corruption on some level. Because I think anybody who's involved in politics on some level will be involved in a certain amount of corruption. And just because she's been in the spotlight or having a very public life for so many years, she just has more things that people can point at and say, oh, look, you did this. This is really corrupt and this and that. And so, she has a paper trail of a lot of things like this, but it's not any worse than other politicians.
Yeah.
I'm not appalled by a lot, because a lot of the people that are, wanting to vote for Trump or his supporters, they make her out to be the devil incarnate. And I think that's insane. That's crazy. She's corrupt. I'm sure she is. She's a politician, but she's not out to steal your children's souls or anything. I don't know.
Exactly. We've got a orange man already trying to do that.
Yeah.
But the thing that irritated me the most was when they started to scrape the bottom of the barrel with trying to insult Hillary by just keep bringing up Bill Clinton. During Trump's grab her by the vagina comment.
Right. Yeah.
That he thought wasn't being recorded. And then as soon as that happened, everybody was, jumping on Bill Clinton. And probably one of those things where he was just like, what did I do? I wasn't part of this.
Yeah, golly, I don't know. This is just the kind of thing where, a lot of people bring, her husband into the picture. There's so many things wrong with that. On one level, he's not even running for president, but fine. Okay. But right. So he's the spouse. But the thing is that the stuff that he did, I at least think he's a little ashamed of it on some level. It's Trump. I don't believe for a minute that he's ashamed of what he's doing. And I'm pretty sure he wants to keep on doing it. Yeah. What, the locker room talk? He
called it locker room talk.
Yeah.
Somebody who's ashamed of it doesn't call it locker room talk. This guy, he knows that the people freaked out because he said it, so he tried to pass the blame on it. It's like, oh no, this is what men do. We talk about things like this. It's like, I don't think he's been in a locker room.
I don't know about that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's just crazy.
I think one of the biggest things that I am excited for, if Hillary does become president, we will have the first gentleman.
I know. Is that what they said that he would be called?
That's what she said she was going to call him. Yeah. She
wow.
said that she was going to call him the first gentleman.
Okay.
And I think that's cool. I think
that works. Cool, sure.
Yeah.
Go for it. But all I'm going to say is I hope Trump doesn't win. But if he did, here's the thing. I'm not like his supporters. On some level, if he were to win, I have to bring myself to say, okay, I can live with that. You know, I'll be really scared and I won't be happy. But you know, I'll probably survive that.
I
But
won't.
well, actually, hear me out here.
Okay,
What I'm getting to, what I'm trying to say here is that I could maybe, you know, try to survive that or survive that. But the point is that, I mean, I would really, I would just live in a kind of fear that I didn't think should exist in the 21st century. You know, like it's like people that, you know, all of us who speak Spanish, or are immigrants in some way, you know, we're all just going to be, you know, it's like targeted on some level.
Yeah, but like the reason I said I'm not going to survive this is because there's a very, very big difference between you and me. It's like I'm a lot darker than you are.
well, dude, I mean, my family, you know, is just as dark as you. So, I mean, it's not like, well, trust me. I mean, it's not but that's my point. I guess what I'm trying to get to is, you know, maybe I look white, you know, just putting it out there, but I am Hispanic. I speak Spanish. Sometimes I speak Spanish in public, and I don't know what's going to happen if somebody starts.
Revolves around speaking Spanish.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I help people who don't speak English communicate. But
if he does go through with that deportation thing, you're going to be out of a job.
Well, yeah, maybe. That could happen.
It's a good thing you know other things. Then you can do other things too.
Well, yeah, you know, you like podcasts, for instance.
Exactly. So we need to get a lot bigger following before, you know, hell comes over.
All right, well, let's get to work, man. Oh man, but anyway,
let's steer away from politics before we cause nightmares.
Yeah, but anyway, I just thought it was only fair that we
something funny.
I agree. I certainly agree. I agree. I'm saying that I agree with that. I was just going to say that it would have been really sad if we hadn't at least acknowledged what was going on, given that we are recording on election night. So
yeah, definitely. Oh, man.
But yeah,
hopefully one day, if we can't look back on this, somebody will look back on this. You know, future generations will listen to our podcast and be like, "This was the last sane thing anyone did before the world went into war."
Before the bomb.
Before the bomb.
That's all it's going to be, man. It's not going to be some long drawn out war. It's just going to be a bomb.
or Trump will create zombies.
That, you know, at this point, I couldn't believe that he became the Republican candidate. So, and I was wrong about that. Sure, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, that could happen. I will honestly believe that.
I feel like either one could probably do it, but I'm pretty sure Trump just made it this far because they want to see if he will, you know, create zombies in an effort to cure, you know, being brown.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, nothing would surprise me from that, man. But anyway, dude, we've spent 25-ish minutes on this topic, so let's go ahead and move on to something else.
Let's talk about something else.
I would like to talk about video games, because video games make me happy, and they help me escape from this nonsense.
Yes, video games are very fun. I just got Injustice, the first one.
The first Injustice.
Yes.
Yeah, the second one is supposed to. I don't even know if it's already out. Yeah, but I have a poster with it on. I don't think it's out. But I don't think it's out. You're right. So
but I got the first one. It's the Ultimate, I think. So it's got like the 6 extra characters.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. No, I almost got that for Wii U, but I never got around to it.
It's pretty fun. The only bad thing is that it's like you can only pick one character at a time. Like all the other fighting games, you can pick like 2 or 3 to be in a team.
Oh, you mean like team fighting games?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Well, that's actually pretty standard, you know, to just have one fighter. But you're right. I really like the games where you can have more than one character, like the King of the Fighters games and you know, the Marvel vs. Capcom and.
Oh, I got that one too.
Oh yeah, which one? 3?
3.
Yeah. That one came out for PS3 and Xbox 360 also. You're playing it on PS3, right?
Yeah. PS3, yeah.
Yeah.
I got those two, and then a Call of Duty game, Advanced Warfare.
Ah.
Yeah, that one sucks because to be able to play on the zombies version, you need to buy DLCs, and it's just like it's stupid.
Yeah. Wait, isn't it like multiplayer only or something?
For campaign or what?
Yeah. Like that's what I mean. Like there's no campaign essentially with the PS3 version.
That one. I think it has a campaign. I haven't really tried because I've only done multiplayer, like local.
Because I heard that last Call of Duty, is it? It's the last one that came out before the one that's before Infinite Warfare.
I think it is Advanced Warfare, the one right before. But the one without campaign is Black Ops 3. That one does not.
Oh yeah, and I remember they were showing some graphical comparisons, and even the multiplayer levels. The amount of detail in them and the geometry is like way more simplified. Like that's one of the first games that really one of the first cross generation games that really shows a huge difference between the old and the new generation.
Yeah.
But all this talk about latest generation games or just the most recent game in whatever series. It actually makes me think of the opposite. It makes me think of retro games, and because the thing that I'm excited about this holiday season is the NES Classic. Have you heard about this thing?
Yeah, that it's coming back.
Yeah. I mean, well, coming back is not the words I would choose because this is not the same device, folks. I mean, this is just a device that connects to your TV via HDMI. You cannot put any games in it. It only has pre-installed games, but it is shaped like the Nintendo Entertainment System from the 80s. And I owned one of these things, and it's got 30 pre-installed games, games that are generally agreed upon as, the best for that system. And you could argue that there's some games that are missing, but it does have a lot of the most popular games. And again, you cannot get any new games for this. This is not going to be connected to the internet. It's literally just those 30 games with a miniature version of the NES and an NES controller that plugs into it. But it's got the connections that are on the Wiimotes, like the ones on the classic controllers that you use with the Wii and the Wiimotes. That's how that NES controller plugs into it. You could not, for instance, use your NES controller from the 80s on this thing. It would be impossible. But I've heard excellent things about it. But the one thing that everybody does mention, all the game review outlets, what they say is that the controller cord is very short. It's only like 2.5 feet long. And a lot of people are thinking that that's Nintendo trying to mimic the experience of playing one of these consoles in the 80s, because a lot of the time you would just have this thing connected to your TV, and the device, the console itself would actually be sitting in front of it on the carpet, on the floor, and the kids would just be sitting right in front of the TV with the controller, so you wouldn't need the cord to be that long. But I mean, in this day and age, I think that might have been misguided. Part of the reason is also because the reset button on the console itself works as the save state button. I think when you hit that button, it's sort of like hitting home on one of the game controllers from recent latest generation game consoles. Everything has a home. Every controller has a home button. But since this controller looks exactly like the 80s controllers, it obviously has no home button. So the reset button, which is kind of redundant, they just used it as sort of like the home / save state access button. So some weird decisions. I don't know why they couldn't have snuck a hidden button behind the thing, but that's the only negative thing about it. But because you have to use that button on the little console, rather than get a longer extension cord or a controller with a longer extension cord, it's better to get a longer HDMI cord. I think that's the best option. But
so you're gonna get it?
I'm probably gonna get it. It should be out this Friday, November 11th. And I'm even going to try to do an unboxing video if I manage to find one. Yeah, and I'm really concerned about that actually because there's no way to pre-order this thing. Nintendo did not open up pre-orders, and apparently every store that's supposed to have it is only going to have a very limited shipment. So this is one of those things where if I get out of work and I go to Target, which is one of the stores where they're supposed to have it, I would not be surprised if they didn't have any more of them. And I think Best Buy also has them. You could also order them on Amazon. That's as much as I know about it. In fact, I'm inclined to try to order it on Amazon first thing in the morning, and then get to Target later that day, and then if I find it, cancel my Amazon order. That's kind of my plan.
That sounds like a solid plan.
Yeah, except that I think they might end up sending it to me anyway, saying it's too late. But
Probably.
Even if that happens, I could just still return it. But anyway, I'll pay extra shipping, but I really want to make sure I have, I get one of these things because I am really excited about it.
It sounds like you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'm gonna do that, mainly because, I need money.
I mean, it is relatively cheap, but yeah, it's not. I mean, it's $60, so it costs as much as a game. A new game from a modern console. But
yeah, I don't even. Most of the time, I don't even get new games just because I don't really see the point in it.
Well, you and me both. I mean, I either do that. I either go with used games, or I'll wait for a Steam sale. Yeah. Or I'll wait for something to be like dirt cheap. I actually scored a copy of Doom for Xbox One for just $20.
Oh man!
And granted, it was a couple of months after the game had been released, but it was it's still a game from this year, and currently I don't think you can find it for any cheaper than $40. I believe 40 or 50 is like the regular price, the MSRP right now in most places. But yeah, I got it for $20 because it was on sale.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember how much I paid for it because I bought 3 games at the same time. They were all used. And I was gonna get the Evil Within. Is that what it's called?
There is a game called The Evil Within that I think it's made by the same guy who I think he worked on Resident Evil, but is like was more involved in Silent Hill, and then he made like his own horror game. But he was with Konami. That's a Konami game, I think. But it's a horror game that's sort of like really twisted and Silent Hill-ish. With Resident Evil, it's like zombies, and here it's more like supernatural, crazy stuff going on.
Okay, yeah, so then it is that one. I was gonna get that one because I found it for like $6.
I've seen it for very cheap, and I've been really close to pulling the trigger. The only reason I've stopped myself from buying a whole lot of new games is because I just I have a huge pile of shame of games that I just have not beaten, and I just feel like it's gonna get worse if I try to get a new game.
Yeah, it might. But I think there's only like 3 games of the ones that I have that I haven't beaten. Like, I think I haven't beaten Assassin's Creed. And then I haven't beaten Uncharted. And Mortal Kombat 9. Those are the 3 I haven't beaten.
Man, yeah, no, I haven't beaten Mortal Kombat 9 either.
I'm stuck on what's that guy's name? The guy with the skull and the hammer.
Skull and
He's got a skull mask.
Is it Shao Kahn?
That guy, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. He used to be the boss of 2 and 3.
Yeah. I can't get past him.
Yeah, is he the final boss in Mortal Kombat 9?
I don't really know.
I don't think he is.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure there's something else after that, but yeah, I can't get past him.
Yeah, well,
I came close once, but never got back to that.
Now imagine playing that in the arcade and having to, put in more quarters every time he defeated you. That was how I experienced Shao Kahn.
Oh man. Yeah, no, I couldn't do that.
It's expensive, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, going to an arcade now is expensive enough.
Yeah. But Man, I was trying to do a video game stream the other day, and I played this an old Nintendo game, an 8-bit Nintendo game called Wizards and Warriors. Mm-hmm. And it's a game that I own. I have the cartridge, but, because it's just easier to, set this up on my emulator, that's what I did instead. And besides, I don't even have my original Nintendo Entertainment System is not available to me right now, but the point is that I tried to stream this game, and I don't know what it is about that emulator that I was using, but it zoomed into the game so close you couldn't see the the life bar in a lot of the other the other elements of the HUD, and it was just something that I didn't notice till I finished the stream, and I was trying to get ready to upload it to YouTube, and then I noticed that the footage just looked messed up.
Oh man!
And yeah, I was really I was actually feeling pretty down about it because actually a couple of friends of mine were very vocal about me doing that stream. I know that they shared it because I hadn't gotten a lot of shares from them, and I never asked them to. I kind of wanted it to happen organically, and it did with that one. Because they saw my post with that game, but they ended up. But I just feel really bad because people who tuned in, they might have been disappointed since the image was just zoomed in and off center, and so now I was actually gonna restream that tonight, but since it's election night, it's probably not a good idea.
Oh man!
But that's a really good game though. Just so you know a little bit about it, it's like this side-scrolling platformer. You play this little knight in shining armor. Literally, you're just this knight with armor and a little sword, and each level you get to a boss and you rescue a damsel, and you just go through I believe 6 or 7 levels of this till you reach this wizard at the end, and it's just platforming and side-scrolling. And, when you find a treasure chest, for example, you'll get a screen that says, "Thou hath discovered gems." And, it uses, language like that. It's cheesy and cool. And one of the, not only because the game is cool in and of itself, but this is a game that was developed by Rare, which is, now a very well-known game developer.
Yeah.
And this is a game that I would have included into the Rare Replay game that they released for Xbox One, which has basically Rare's greatest hits. And for some reason they omitted this game, which I think is a glaring mistake because it's great. It's an excellent game. But a funny anecdote about this game is the fact that there were 2 sequels that came out on the NES, and in the first sequel, that is, Wizards and Warriors 2, they had, this is probably going to date me, but there's this model that was very popular, this male model that was popular in the 90s by the name of Fabio. And he even made a few commercials for, I Can't Believe It's Not Butter, but that's a different story. And this guy, they got him to dress up as a barbarian, and they took a picture of him to be on the cover of Wizards and Warriors 2. There's no barbarians in any of these games. I mean, it's literally medieval knights, but for some reason they thought it'd be cool to have this, shirtless dude with long blonde hair, just sort of standing there holding the sword. And I think it was ridiculous. It's really hilarious. If you play the game and you see the game box, it's like, this is nothing like that at all.
You know what they say, sex sells.
Well, I don't know. That's certainly not the reason I would buy that game.
Oh, man.
But that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, I think I'm far more excited about about movies than I am about the games. Oh, my God.
Oh, my gosh, I'm really excited about movies. And don't die there. We're still recording.
I'll die on air. No, I don't know. My voice was changing. I don't know why. I think I need water, but I'll get some later.
All righty. Well, I thought you had been through puberty, but that's cool.
I've been going through puberty for 10 years.
Oh, man. I remember those days.
Yeah, no, my voice still cracks, so I don't think that's ever gonna stop.
Yeah, I have that problem because of acid reflux. I got
Man.
really bad acid reflux. Now I'm talking about my medical history. But trust me, folks, you don't want that. It really sucks.
Yeah, but going back to movies.
Rogue One and Doctor
the Flash
Strange.
movie-
The Flash movie? He's gonna... Wait, they've announced it already?
Well, they've announced that he lost his director.
Oh, so it was already in production?
Yeah, it's already. I think it's already doing that. But I know that the director left. I think he left because of like creative reasons, creative differences.
Oh my gosh!
But they got him for the new Sonic movie, so he's gonna be directing that one.
Wait a minute! I heard something about somebody wanting to do a Sonic movie that was like half live action, half CGI. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, they got him. They got him to be on board, and he's totally psyched for it. And so now everyone's psyched for it too because the director has done some pretty good stuff.
Well, what has he directed?
I don't really know. I'm going based off of the stuff I read.
Oh man. Well, I have two things to say about that. First of all, I feel sorry for DC because they can't seem to get a break. I mean, all the movies that they're making that are designed to, go up against Marvel movies have had all sorts of issues. Production issues, large segments of the population just flat out disliking them. Yeah. And again, apparently it continues. And second of all, I'm really psyched about a half live action, half CGI Sonic. I mean, just because it's Sonic, it's a character that I grew up with. Mm-hmm. So I just want to see that, even though no matter what they say about this director, I still think that that movie is probably going to suck. But I'm going to watch it anyway because it's a video game movie and I watch video game movies. And that's why they keep on making these crappy video game movies, because idiots like me will go watch them.
Yeah, I'm not going to go watch it. If I ever do watch it, it's because I went and saw a different one and then didn't feel I got my money's worth, so I snuck into that one.
Yeah, well, I certainly respect that, but again, without disagreeing with the fact that it's probably going to suck. Again, I grew up with this. I feel I'm obligated to do this.
Yeah, totally.
I just have to, yeah.
And I'm more excited for the Justice League movie. I want to see Doctor Strange, but...
I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah, I heard that too. But I'm going to have to wait for next week just because I don't get paid till Friday. So.
Well, you don't want to break the piggy bank over that, that's for sure.
Exactly. I could probably get somebody to sneak me into the theater. I know some people that work there, but I don't feel like getting them in trouble. Yeah,
you probably don't want to do that, but I'm excited about Rogue One, though. Not as excited.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I respect that because I was going to add that I don't feel as excited about it as I did about The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Because it's like The Force Awakens, it's like, oh my gosh, we've waited 20 years to know this, to see this, to know what happens after episode 6.
Mm-hmm.
But, this is just sort of like, oh, it's in between, episode 1, 2, and 3 and 4, 5, and 6. So, okay, So that point in history, in Star Wars lore, I should say, is, I guess I never really cared how they got the plans to the Death Star all that much.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Star Wars, and actually... If you had just tried to sell me the movie based upon, what it's about, which, again, everybody knows now that it's a story about how they got the plans to the Death Star to R2-D2, who then, is found by Luke Skywalker. That's what the movie's about, essentially, how that happened. Mm. If you just tell me that, I would say I don't care about it. But when I saw the visuals and the preview trailer, I was really impressed. I'm still not as impressed as I was with The Force Awakens because even though that movie might not have been entirely or the most visually appealing movie, just because it was exciting because that's a part of Star Wars lore that I've wanted to know, to see a movie about for more than 20 years.
Yeah.
This movie looks a little more visually interesting, but it's just not a part of Star Wars lore that I'm that interested in. But I will watch it.
Yeah.
And I want to watch it. That's my take.
I'm not entirely sure if I want to watch it. I think I'm just gonna like hold off on it for a while. Just because it's like you said, it's like it doesn't sound that interesting. It looks like interesting, but I don't feel like because like if it bombs, I'm gonna feel really disappointed. Just because I went and saw a piece of Star Wars franchise that didn't hold up.
Right.
So I think I'd rather hold off and see what people think, like, and see like all the reviews, and then I'll form an opinion to see if I'm gonna watch it or not.
Right. I probably should have followed that advice when I, went to go see the Warcraft movie, because I watched it. Because it's a video game movie, and that's, I'm a familiar. Well, yeah, on one level, yes, but at the same time, it's like I've never been a huge WoW fan. I have friends who are really into WoW. I'm not that big of a World of Warcraft fan because I just don't want to pay a monthly subscription. That's just me. Yeah, you have to pay monthly for that. Yeah, heck yeah.
Terrible.
Or you could pay. Yeah. Well, anyway, I know it's great though. I mean, people who play that, I think they get their money's worth if you're into that.
Yeah.
I watched it because it was a video game movie and because I have a lot of friends who play it. I was not familiar with the lore. I gave it a chance. I was thoroughly bored.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I already talked about this movie a few podcasts ago, but I'm just saying, with that movie, I guess I'm contradicting myself. I guess I'm scaling back a little, and I don't think I should watch every single video game movie, but I probably want to watch video game movies with characters I care about.
Yeah.
Now that being said, if it's a Star Wars movie, I feel the obligation to watch it because I care about Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
I care
just
about
me.
Star Wars a lot too. Like, I grew up on that stuff.
Yeah.
But, at the same time, Rogue One doesn't really sound that interesting. And I've watched...
No, and you see, that's just it. It doesn't sound interesting, but it looks interesting. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, and I've watched every other thing, like every in-between movies that they've put out, like the Clone Wars series, anything like books and stuff that they put out in between that were supposed to be in between the movie stuff. I've seen all that, I've read all that, but still this one for some reason makes me feel like I should avoid it, at least for the time being. I don't know what it is about it, but I'm getting that vibe.
Yeah, well, you definitely don't want to. You're definitely not obligated to see it, on the premiere, but you should probably watch it at some point because it's just one of those things where, like, if I'm the least of all Star Wars fans, or the person that's, the most marginally interested in Star Wars, you should probably still watch it just because it's part of the lore. But
yeah, eventually I'll get around to it. But
right,
for some reason, I want to hold off until I see how big of a splash it makes.
Well, you see, I wanna see that in IMAX 3D, and I also want to see Doctor Strange in IMAX 3D.
Yeah, that
Doctor Strange especially. Now that one is, I think that is like one of the most visually interesting movies of the year.
Yeah,
and not only that, I heard the story's really good too. Yeah, it's been a long time coming for magic to be dealt with in the Marvel universe, the cinematic universe, that is.
Yeah. But, only time will tell how these movies hold up. I think we should wrap it up just because I've got to go do something.
Yeah, no, and I hear you, man. No problem. I was about to suggest the same thing. But, hey, I'm glad we could, finally record this because it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, man. So
and here it is.
All right. Well, we'll figure out when the next one is, and it'll be done whenever we figure that out.
All right. Yeah, no, definitely so. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for listening. This has been No Way, Seaway. I am Ralph.
And I'm Abraham.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Have a good night.
All right, laters.
Bye.
Bye.